From Lake Tahoe and the Sierra to the Truckee River, Pyramid Lake, and beyond, Northern Nevada and California boasts a wealth of outdoor activities.
Over the next few months, we'll take you along for the ride to some of the most exciting and beautiful places in our area.
We'll take you skiing in the backcountry, hunting for the largest trout in North America, gliding thousands of feet in the air, and streaking across the desert at nearly 60 miles per hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to the beautiful Truckee River here in downtown Reno. He's Alex Margulies, I'm Brian Samudio. Welcome to Exploring Our Backyard. Tonight, we're gonna take you land sailing.
What do you think about jumping on a horse and riding 90 miles across the open Nevada pasture? That's what I did on the Reno Rodeo Cattle Drive. We'll show you that.
Plus, do you know what a UTV is? We're gonna take you on those up at the place called Moon Rocks. That's where we start.
On any given weekend in Northern Nevada, this is a familiar scene. Dozens of locals gathered for a group ride up at Moon Rocks, a popular off-roading area north of Reno, all sharing their love for UTVs or ultimate terrain vehicles.
I'm Robert Gott. I'm the owner of UTV Addiction here in Reno, Nevada. We're Reno's premier UTV off-road and tour facility. We're out here at Moon Rocks here in Reno, Nevada today riding around. Behind the wheel of a UTV, there's nothing like it. You get to experience everything. As fast as you want to go or as slow as you want to go, these cars can put it out.
It's just fun. It's free out here. There's no worries, no stress. We enjoy going off-roading.
From the center of town, you're looking at only about a 45-minute drive north along Pyramid Highway. Then you'll turn left on Winnemucca Ranch Road, and eventually Moon Rocks will appear on your left.
Moon Rocks is a fantastic location to bring the family out to do a little UTV riding or ATV riding. It offers a lot of different terrain for anything from easy stuff on technical side or a little bit of road riding. It's got a little bit of everything to offer, and it's right in our backyard.
For veterans of the area or newcomers like Tamara and Carl Adams, Moon Rocks provided a lot of thrills.
There was a couple of times, like when we started to get to going down into the valley, I thought, oh, we're not going to make it, get your heart going, and then you just inch away, and then you make it, and people in front of you make it, people behind you make it. It was a lot of fun. And then when we got to the top, we seen Pyramid Lake. The views are incredible. It was just such a fun day.
As for the difference between a UTV and your standard ATV quad,
these cars are now much safer. They come with full roll cages, they have seat belts, and it's a lot easier for all parts of the family to drive and enjoy.
Hey Carter, I've never done this before. Should I be scared? Yeah. Yeah? You serious? Yeah? How do I get a helmet like this? I don't have a helmet.
I got mine.
You got yours at Walmart? We need to go back to Walmart, man.
all right, I think we got a pretty good shake at things now. Bobby's giving us a great tour, showing us the ropes. I'm ready to get behind the wheel. Let's go take this thing for a spin, man.
You're going to drive.
I'm going to drive.
All right.
Are you good with that?
Let's go.
Let's go. How do you feel about this decision to let me drive?
Terrible. Terrifying.
I'm not coming home tonight.
All right, worst idea ever to let you.
Woo! Man, what an absolute blast out here with UTV Addiction and this entire crew. This is why we love our backyard. Woo!
What a great time. A big thank you to Robert Gott and UTV Addiction for taking us out there to Moon Rocks. Check them out online if you want to see what this is all about.
Definitely one of the great things you can do here right in our backyard. Coming up next, we're going to take you on a 5-day, 90-mile journey across the Nevada desert on horseback, all part of the Reno Rodeo Cattle Drive. That's next.
Welcome back to Exploring Our Backyard from beautiful downtown Reno. Alex got a chance to have a once-in-a-lifetime experience at the Cattle Drive this year, earned the nickname Hoss.
Yeah, this is not something I ever expected I would ever do. Had barely had any experience on a horseback before going on this. I dragged Ryan Kern along as we went on the 5-day Reno Rodeo Cattle Drive. Let's check out part 1.
There's something that happens out here. Something happens to people. You know, I don't want to say it's a religious experience, but it's definitely a passionate experience. People come to understand the Western heritage and the relationship with their horse, the relationship and camaraderie with the other guests and with the crew is something that people look forward to and schedule their vacations around years in advance.
100 people from all walks of life in different parts of the country, herding 300 head of cattle across 80 miles of California and Nevada desert. The nation's final cattle drive to kick off a rodeo, the wildest, richest rodeo in the West.
Hi, I'm Butch Van Leuven. I'm the trail boss for the Reno Rodeo Cattle Drive. We're trying to replicate the cattle drives of the past, with some modern conveniences, but there's no motorized vehicles on the cattle drive. We bring the wagons. We make the realism as it was at the turn of the century. So to give them that experience of what it was like, eating a lot of dirt, riding in a saddle all day, and they're very tired and their knees are screaming at them when we get into camp.
After a quick meetup in Reno, we head north to our first campsite, just outside Doyle, California. And after setting up our tents for the night, it was time to meet the horses that would shoulder the load for our long journey. My trusty steed was Sarge. Back at camp, it was time for some ice breaking with our new teams in the form of Cowboy Olympics. Think strapping on a saddle, cow pie toss, and even a milking competition. As the sun went down, had a chance to chow down on some great food and had some fun learning how to rope from the legit cowboys that were part of the trip. And then it was time to turn in. Each morning would begin about the same, with Wrangler boss Randy Bell setting his own kind of alarm. After a quick breakfast, it was time to depart on a 17-mile journey via horseback from Doyle east into Nevada to a stretch of land called Winnemucca Ranch. And the folks here didn't come just to joyride, they're here to move a herd. Yeah! And you feel an immediate jolt of adrenaline as the cattle are let out of their pens and allowed to run free across the countryside. Yeah.
You guys are doing awesome. You're in the right place at the right time, and we're controlling the whole deal.
Day one was rugged, difficult, and tiring. But somehow, some way, I made it through 8+ hours in this saddle. And I can't describe to you how good it felt to make it into camp. Nestled into the hills among some shady trees, we listened to music.
Sunrise on the Rockies, last light.
Made new friends.
We're gonna find new slippers.
I'm telling you.
Are we gonna hear the story?
And prepared for the next leg of our journey. On day 3, there were reinforcements, as News 4's and Fox 11's Ryan Kern joined the fray.
I'm just excited to get on a horse. I'm excited to get on a horse and just go down. Hang out with the queen will be nice too. She made me say that. You don't want to make the queen mad.
Saddled up and ready to go, we begin a much easier day 2, traveling roughly 8 miles from Winnemucca Ranch to our next destination, Marshall Flats, at a campsite close to a popular ATV area called Moon Rocks. Sarge lost interest in the herding, and at one point, we found ourselves at the front of the pack. Just me, my horse, and the open Nevada road. Tell you what, nothing quite like being in the saddle for that long, and we've got much more of the Reno Rodeo Cattle Drive coming up right after the break.
Welcome back to Exploring Our Backyard, part 2 of the Reno Rodeo Cattle Drive. Now, the cowpokes on this cattle drive, they do rough it to a certain extent, but when it comes to food, it's first class. Check this out.
After 2 days and more than 25 miles riding on horseback, we arrive at the next destination. The red carpet, as always, is rolled out. The volunteer camp crew sets up big tents ahead of time, food ready to go in the smoker, and portable bathrooms and showers ready for use. But some people had other ideas.
This is a cowboy hot tub. You know, look, my horse likes it too, see?
Don't backwash.
Let's get back to the food. Let's just say we were well fed. There was fresh baked sourdough bread and desserts made in a coal-fired Dutch oven from Randy's wife, Terry Bell, otherwise known as the Dutch Diva.
On top, so basically I'm just creating a little small oven inside of this pot.
The cattle drive is all about the people that you meet out here, and how meaningful this is to them. To be a part of having them have that experience is just so rewarding.
Plus,
I'm Rod Smith. I live in Washoe Valley, and I'm making ice cream for the cattle drive. So it's a 1918 hit and miss engine and an ice cream, a 2-gallon ice cream maker. And what's between the engine and the ice cream maker, I made.
And the main course, delicious ribs and other items from Brothers Barbecue's Wood Smoker.
Oh my God, so good. Every meal here is awesome. If you go hungry, it's your own fault.
And when the sun sets, the action continues into the night at the saloon. On the second to last day, I had to leave Sarge behind as I was invited to join the Teamsters, a crew of wagons drawn by horse or mules.
My name's Kathy Davis, and I'm a Teamster. Driving a team is what I do. I've been driving teams since about 2003. I've been doing the cattle drive 8-10 years now. It slows you down, makes you're able to see a lot more and experience a lot more things that you don't experience in a car. You're not in such a hurry.
Our final night at camp spent in the Hungry Valley was memorable, not for the best reasons though. It turned out to be extremely cold and windy, gusts coming in at over 60 miles per hour, causing the whole camp to come together in order to batten down the hatches and keep the tents secure. While some people fought through and pitched up their tents, Ryan and I thought we had a genius plan of just sleeping in one of the freight trucks that was hauling around the gear. We were wrong.
We slept in what we all believe to be a refrigerated boxcar last night.
That's exactly what.
We decided we didn't want to pitch the tents last night, and that turned out to be a mistake. Whew! But it's the final day, and we are gearing up and ready to go. We're pretty excited, and we're going to be rolling through town soon, so that makes it all worth it.
But through it all, the lingering taste of dirt in your mouth, worn down bodies from hard days on the trail, nobody seemed to mind. They were in heaven.
It's adventure. It's fun. Being outside, the people you meet, being with the animals, it's all good. And the dirty parts about it are just kind of fun. You push yourself outside of the boundaries of everyday life, and you get to see a whole different side of yourself.
The final day of our journey will be a memory that'll last a lifetime. Riding through that final stretch of desert was surreal. And when we made our final descent and looked down upon Reno and the Truckee Meadows, I began to sense a real accomplishment that had been had. There was no time for nostalgia though. It was time to put our herding skills to the test. We were responsible for protecting hundreds of onlookers as we trotted our crew 2.5 miles through Reno, and Ryan and I were right at the front of the pack. From Clear Acre and McCarran down Sutro and eventually Audie Boulevard, screams from the crowd and the pitter-patter of hooves carried through the streets. Then finally, we made it. Our hardy crew arrived at the Reno Rodeo Arena, capping off an incredible, emotional, and soul-fulfilling adventure.
Nailed it!
You look good on the horse, man. I did the same cattle drive probably 20 years ago. What a great time.
Honestly, an experience of a lifetime. Ryan and I have been talking about it ever since. One of the greatest things that we've ever had a chance to do. Coming up next on Exploring Our Backyard, we're going to take you land sailing. I'm talking 60 miles an hour across the Nevada desert. You won't want to miss this.
Welcome back to Exploring Our Backyard. Our next adventure takes us streaking across the playa.
You know, this is honestly one of the most unique things that you can do right here in our backyard, land sailing. Let's check it out. Just an hour's drive from Reno, we head north to a playa called Flanagan, just outside of Doyle, California, right along the border with Nevada. With no one else in sight, our crew gets going on setting up our 2 land sails. 2 of my close family friends, Dave Littman and Bobby Guerrero, have been doing this for years and first introduced me to it a couple summers ago. And before no time, they're off and ripping through the playa. Dave, how does this thing actually even work?
It's a sailboat, just like any other kind of sailboat. Mast, sail, tiller, rudder, sheet. These are perfect land sailing conditions. It is blowing a solid 18 to 20 knots. We're out on this beautiful, smooth playa. It's a gorgeous day, not a cloud in the sky. This is what Nevada is all about.
How fast do these things get going?
These Mana twins can go up to about 50 miles an hour, 50 or 60 miles an hour. Sometimes in gusts, maybe a little bit higher. Always feels fast because you're only about this far off the ground. But there's boats that can go closer to 100 miles an hour, and I think the world speed record for land sailing is over 100 miles an hour.
All right, Dave called you the godfather of land sailing. How the heck did you get into this?
Years ago, I worked with the state of Nevada, and a friend of mine, paraplegic, got introduced to Joe Bull. And he said, Bob, you need to do this. This would be great for the program. So with an adaptive device, instead of foot steering, you have a handle. And I go, this is great. I just a little bit and I'm hooked. So I made it part of my program, and I've been doing it ever since.
What are the reaction of people when they try this for the first time?
Well, ask your friends that were here. The screaming, the squeals, they left wet spots on the trampoline. I don't know. I think it was sweat, but I don't know.
How is that?
Oh my God, that is incredible. Oh, you're flying, getting air, 360s. Oh, baby.
What was your reaction 5 minutes into riding this thing?
Just unbelievable. Just when you think you're going fast, and you do a little hairpin turn, that's when you know you're land sailing.
After some tandem lessons, it was time for me to take the reins all by myself.
And what you're going to want to do is sail back and forth across the wind. Wind is coming from this direction.
So I want the wind to be at my side.
You want the wind to be coming over your shoulder all the time.
And things got off to a pretty smooth start. And then fortunately, I was totally fine, and it was off for some more land sailing. Man, what an absolute thrill sailing across the Nevada desert. Doesn't get a whole lot better than this. I may or may not have flipped this thing over. Lesson learned. Still a blast out here. Another reminder of why I love my backyard.
Man, that looked like a blast. I don't know how our insurance company will let you do it without a helmet on.
Honestly, it's one of the greatest adrenaline rushes that you can experience here in our backyard. Unfortunately, you can't go out on a tour, but if you want to get interested in the sport, you can go online and buy a dirt boat yourself. Bobby was saying it costs around $3 or $4 grand.
That'll do it for this edition of Exploring Our Backyard. Thanks so much for being with us this season. You have any suggestions? Just send us an email at mynews4.com.
Had a great time exploring our backyard and seeing all the great things that our area has to offer. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.